Thank you guys so much for being here. First of all, it has been a banner year for Archbold High School sports. In the fall, started off with the cross-country girls placing third in state, highest team ranking for school history. Boys golf traveling to state, both boys and girls soccer traveling to state, boys bringing home the first championship also for school history. In the winter, boys basketball with a perfect regular season record, 3 wrestlers competing at state level, and then this spring, boys baseball going to regionals, girls softball to districts. And now you guys sit here as the girls state runner-up track team, also something never done in school history. Dina, was there some excitement coming into this track season on the tails of all those accomplishments, knowing the potential there was for Archbold track this year?
Honestly, I did not think about all of the previous successes in that school year. I just focused on track. I was very excited because of my returning coaches. I knew the quality of my coaches, and we had 2 new coaches coming in. And just going through the indoor season, the excitement that the girls talked about in the weight room with Coach Hammersmith and Coach Roop and Coach Kinsman, they were excited. So yes, there was some excitement coming into it.
Girls, what did it take to get to this point as a team? What did you have to sacrifice to get here?
I mean, it was a lot of training. That was the first big thing. And some of us I know had jobs too, so it was going straight from practice to work. And so you had to be good at managing your time, and you couldn't always hang out with your friends. You had to give that up.
Sure.
Personally, towards the beginning of the track season, I had to give up some of my track time because I'm in musical too. So that was something that I had to sacrifice, was a little bit of track time, and we had to come up with a schedule when I would go to musical and when I go to track. But it all ended up working out pretty well in the end.
Also, going along with how Shiloh was at the beginning of the season, I was doubling in softball and track, so I had to try to figure out when I could split my time and when I had enough time to get my homework done and then go do the track workout after I'd already had softball practice. So that was kind of stressful all the time, but all the coaches were really supportive, so that made me feel a lot better about the whole situation too.
So one of the things we had to sacrifice was the senior talent show. That was the day of our regional final thing, is that? Okay. Mm-hmm. And so we had to leave that early. That was also our our last day of high school ever. I wasn't there with all my friends the last day of school, and I wasn't there to see the senior slideshow with the pictures of us from all 13 years at Archbold. So that was hard. I was sitting on a bus. I wanted to be, in that auditorium. So, but it was worth it in the end. Once we got to state and once we were done, I mean, I have sacrificed an hour of my last day of school for an amazing weekend meet with some of my best friends, so yeah.
Coaches, not every day can be the best day for them as students or athletes. How do you work to keep positive attitudes for these girls?
I can say that one thing going through Archbold athletics in my career, one of our football coaches said that you have to approach every day as a salesman. You can't come into a practice, looking down or showing that you're down, because people will take advantage of that. And then it's also a hindrance into yourself. So one of the things that I look at from a coaching perspective now is just approaching every day as that salesman. We have a job to do when we get on the track, and that's put these athletes in the best position that they want to be in order to accomplish what they can. So
even those bad days, you can get something positive out of it. There's something, you're still doing the work. It may not feel great. That may not be the best race that you've had, but you're still getting something out of it.
Coaches, how do you work to bring these girls to their full potential?
Tell them that we believe in them, challenge them, make them do things they're not comfortable with.
yeah, absolutely pulling them out of their comfort zone a little bit. Specifically, if there's a windy day, we run into the wind. If it's a rainy day, we run in the rain. Those things just make you a better athlete.
From the outside looking in, Archbold was always in track the rival, the team to beat. When I was running, coming up to my junior, senior year, they were on their 7-peat streak. So now to be a part of that and see the preparation and the work that goes into Archbold track, it was kind of shocking to me, honestly. Like, it was completely different. It was just completely different.
Iris, you came to this team partway through high school, correct? But nonetheless, you became very vital to this team, especially in the 100 meter and the relays. And now you are joining National Guard, correct? How will the hard work and the teamwork that you've developed here at Archbold translate into your next journey in the armed forces?
I think it will help me because one of the main things about entering into the Army or the National Guard, it's doing teamwork and being able to communicate with others to help others. And I think that my team helped me with that a lot because every time I said that I couldn't do something, they helped me and they were always there for me. So,
And thank you for your service. It's amazing that you're doing that. Gwen, you developed stronger and stronger into an athlete over the last 4 years. You first had success on the relays. You were part of the second place state team at the 4x4 your freshman year. You emerged as an individual runner even in cross country. And now the last 2 years, more and more in the 800. How did you continue to improve and get where you are today over the last 4 years?
A lot of it was a matter of like wanting to get better and believing in myself, because freshman year I would have never believed that I could get in the teens, like 2:17 for an 800. That was crazy for me. And so a lot of it was having teammates there to push me and get better each practice, and wanting to get better, I think, was a big part of that.
And what would you say to someone who maybe isn't at the top of their event or their sport those first couple years, and they're thinking about quitting or giving up and discouragement and giving up on that dream? What would you say to them?
I think there's always room for improvement, and if you practice more at something, my philosophy is that you'll get better at it. So I think if they continue to work hard and just have that strong spirit, that they can get what they want.
And then still speaking about GW, the Fred Daffler Sportsmanship Award. I've seen it. This is my 29th year of coaching, and I've seen it awarded, and I've seen other Archbold people receive it, but honestly, I can't say any of them deserved it more than her. Just her personality and how hard she worked and how she cared about others. I was thrilled when the officials told me that she would be getting that award, because she's top notch.
And Dakota, you quickly left no doubt of your abilities your freshman year. You not only were on that second place state team on that 4x4 relay, but also immediately proved you were state title worthy in that 400, coming in at 58 seconds in fourth place your first try as a freshman. Is there pressure that comes the rest of your high school career when you come out on the top like that so early?
Yeah, definitely. Every year I'm more nervous than the previous year, so this year was really pretty rough. But yeah, there's pressure. I feel as though I have to prove something, which is good in a way. That's what pushes me. If I didn't have that feeling, I don't think my times wouldn't be as fast.
Did you feel you had an advantage in having coaches who were so successful?
Yes, because, not only do they know how to train me, they also know the pressure I'm going through, and they know how to kind of like get the best out of me when running.
You earn a state title in 2018 with a time of 56.4 and break the 56 barrier this spring with 55.82. Which of those wins did you enjoy more?
Well, I don't know. I enjoyed them both for different reasons. In 2018, I just was shocked. I couldn't believe I actually did it. It took me like 3 days to actually fully understand that I had actually won. This year, it was like in 5 minutes. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. It was the 4x4 that I still that's definitely my favorite of all of them. That shock, I don't know. I still can't believe it sometimes. We did so awesome.
I've heard the comment that you are likely the best high school female runner in the entire state of Ohio, if not further. What would you say to that?
I can definitely improve some, so I don't know.
Coaches, how would you respond to that?
She definitely has the most heart out of any athlete in the state of Ohio, especially watching her run and persevere through pain, especially that she came with some of the downsides of having bad weather throughout the season. So, biggest heart, yes, absolutely.
We challenged her a lot this season. Different events, shorter events. Coach Hammersmith worked hard on getting that start down, getting the little things. We know her talent, but we were just trying to get that little bit. That 56 barrier was huge, and so those little things played a part.
Seniors, will you be continuing to run? Will you be running in college?
Yeah, I'm running track at Hillsdale College.
I'll also be going to Hillsdale, but I'll do track and cross country.
Will you stick with running, Iris?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you coach in the future?
I think I would. That'd be fun, yeah.
I think I'll probably be pretty busy because I want to be a doctor, so I don't know if I'd have time for that.
It's too smart. If you did coach, which of these coaches do you find yourself maybe modeling after?
I would do a combination.
Yeah.
Because they all have really great, like, things they bring to the table. Like,
Tell me what you would pull from some of these
Okay.
coaches.
Let me think. Well, his enthusiasm. Coach Hammersmith's enthusiasm. I definitely try and be excited for my athletes, enthusiastic. Rachel, she always tells us how she believes in us, and so I would definitely bring that. And then Mrs. Gladio, her just overall support. I had her as my study hall, and I feel like we always just had really good conversations. And it wasn't always about track; it was also about other things that were going on in our lives. So she was a good support system. So yeah, I don't know. And then I wasn't ever with the other coaches very much because I wasn't allowed to do hurdles or throwing or anything like that. But from the little time I spent with them, they were all just a lot of fun to be around, and they were all people I could talk to, I would say. Yeah.
And while it's obviously incredible to have outstanding individual athletes, it's easy to talk about Dakota and her 400, Kylie Sauter, who couldn't be here today, and Gwen, 4th and 7th, respectively, in the 800. You don't become a state runner-up team on just those individual events. There were 3 incredible relay teams with Dakota, Gwen, and Kylie on 3, Iris on all 3 of those. Iris being on 2 of them, and Brittany Ramirez being on the other. And congrats to the 4x4 team on your championship as well. Coaches, how do you build and maintain your program as a team sport, even when you have individuals that are excelling on their own like this?
I think Dakota said it all when she said, that 4x4 was amazing. It, even better than an individual event, because you have to have 4 people on the same day running their best, which is very, very hard.
That's the stick.
All the little things that can happen in between. That's why we have alternates. That's why because who knows when something could not go the way it is planned. So I think they take it upon themselves to value their teammates, and they show that. I think they show that to other teams, and they show that to their teammates too.
And I think that also showed at the district meet when Kylie couldn't be there. Brittany ran the 4x2. She knew that was her role. At the regional meet, Dakota's leg was bothering her, so then Emma ran the 4x2. They stepped up and helped that relay progress down the tournament trail.
Everyone wants to be on those relays because you could be a great individual athlete, but when you step into that relay, you're relying on 3 other people. So the fact that they had that trust in each other, and that as a team we have that depth that we can throw anyone in there and still be successful with it, is kind of a testament to the program as a whole, the training.
Ladies in the middle here, I know you sometimes feel like you're just in this supporting role that doesn't seem as important, but at vital moments, like Coach Gladio said, you've stepped in, done those things that needed done to get your team where you needed to be. What are you ladies taking from this experience?
I think it's really hard because our seniors down here have really set the bar super high, not only athletically, but also just in their personalities. The way that they've led us is incredible, whether they know it or not. Just their attitudes that they've been able to maintain, and just the way that they've been so successful is incredible. And there's a lot of tears and emotion telling them goodbye. So that's going to be something that's really hard, but it's also awesome just to have them as role models for us, and that's for sure what they'll be for the rest of our high school career. So
I think seeing them be so successful is what like drives us to want to be like better and like work harder for like the next year and like doing really good like individually and just having a good like mindset and attitude.
Emma and Carly, you two are both freshmen, both stepped in that backup role at some point, both ran at regionals. What has this experience been like for you as freshmen and just kind of that extra role there?
I think overall it was really just a roller coaster of emotions the whole time, because I know before Cam and I were joking about how we weren't going to compete that day. And when I was told that Dakota's shins were bothering her and I would step in for the 4x2, I was not ready. And I was talking to other people and I was just saying how this is going to be so bad, I'm going to do terrible. And then we ended up qualifying to move on. So it was just a great day and I was really happy at the end and I felt really accomplished for being able to step in to that role.
Well, I was dealing with an injury, and Kylie won their softball game. So then Rachel told me in the annex, I was on the bike, Kylie won, you have to run the 4x8 the next day. And I was dreading it the whole time. I was scared. I was really nervous because I knew like it was just the district meet, like we had to qualify. It was finals for us, and so it was a 4x8. And I ran I don't remember what leg I ran. And Rachel said, you're doing good, like keep going. And then I finished, and then we're ahead by like half a lap because everyone else was just falling behind. But I was really glad I was able to run with Gwen, Dakota, and Brittany that day. It's good having a sister on the team and going down to stay as an alternate, just like watching everyone run and like see everything that they accomplish. It's amazing.
How has being an Archbold athlete made you a better student or just a better person overall?
I know Dakota said something about managing time, and I can agree with that because like sometimes we get back at like 11, or like even when we went to like regionals, we'd get back at like maybe midnight, almost 1 o'clock. So we had to do stuff on the bus, and I mean, yeah, so you have to work that out in between and use your study hall wisely and everything like that.
Yeah, I think that like earlier Dakota was talking about like the huddles and just like the word of the day. I think that those really carry into like our school days and our personalities just like as a whole. Like yeah, we say positivity on the track, but like that also carries into like school or friendships or relationships with other people, which is really cool too, just to see how just like a word and 20 seconds of meditating on it can just like impact not only an hour and a half practice, but also like just your school.
I agree with that. I think that being an athlete on a team, we learn to have like teamwork and like work with others well, and we learn like communication skills and stuff like that. And I think that's helpful for when we go into school, and also like managing our time with like being an athlete and schoolwork. And we always have like a set schedule that we're working on so that we don't like hesitate to get anything done late. And I think most of us, like when we're busy like that, we work harder at like both things, like school and like our sports.
Mm-hmm. I think our athletes do a good job of embracing their competitors. This is something that I witnessed at the state meet, that the girl that got second with Dakota, like she could not get enough of Dakota. Like, but Dakota, and I know Dakota was nervous, and she didn't have to take the time to talk to her, but she was there with you. She was by your side for the prelims and for the finals the next day, and she loved Dakota, and she was trying to soak everything of Dakota in. And so just for our girls to take that, and guys too, to see that camaraderie within our league, within our area, they just really embrace each other. They talk to one another, again, like Coach said, on the starting line, on the, starting for their relays and their exchange zones. They are just encouraging one another and being there, and those relationships will not only last now, they'll continue on. And so, yeah, our athletes do a great job of just embracing everybody, no matter if you are going to win the race or just want to finish the race. They do that well.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was a 4x2. Yeah, it was a 4x2. The girls, everyone sets up their tennis balls before the race, and then the race starts. And we were all walking out, standing like where we were going to stand for our exchange. It's the fourth runner. And all of a sudden, a couple of the girls, I think it was me and like 2 other girls from another school, we noticed that the girl in lane 1 or 2 she was in the wrong exchange zone completely, because you can tell pretty easily, like everyone's in a line, but this one girl was way ahead. Like, you are in the wrong exchange zone, and all of us like helped her set up her blocks within like 10 seconds. So it's really cool, because I mean, we all wanted her to be in her exchange zone and have the chance, like at least have the opportunity. So it's just things like that you don't have in other sports. Like in soccer, the other team, you don't really like talk to them before the game. You don't, I don't know, shake their hand or hug them or anything. Where in track, I mean, you do all that. You talk to them, you talk about how nervous you are, you like give them hugs, you pray together. Like it's just a different atmosphere, definitely.
I know some people always say, like, why are you guys so nice to your competitors? Like, I don't know, I feel like you build those relationships with other, like, competitors, and, like, I feel like that's how you, like, grow bonds with them, and, like, it gives you, like, the confidence to go talk to them, and, I mean, it makes competing fun.
Yeah,
so,
just more fun.
And, yeah.
I think talking about confidence, like, our coaches have been, like, that's, like, one of the biggest things that I think I've been given by my coaches. Like, they always tell me, like, I'm a head case, it's all mental, Cam. Like, they always tell me, and that's definitely something that I struggle with as an athlete, is just believing I can do things. And I think that is something that the coaches here at Archbold, track and cross country and stuff, have really tried to, like, instill in me. And
Are there any funny or embarrassing moments, coaches or athletes, that you need to throw in here?
Who knows?
Well, I'll throw one in. I don't think the kids know this, but the reason you guys won is because of these lucky shirts. I mean, seriously, you guys didn't know it, did you? Am I right?
You are right. Yes, we picked out our outfits and we had our lucky ones. We're not superstitious at all, but we did. We had.
And what did I do right before her 400? Because I messed it up for the 4x2.
She took off her shirt. She had something over top of her blue shirt, and so she took it off before the 400. Yes.
I blamed myself for that, so I took my pullover off because it was chilly that morning. And then Dakota came through and everybody else came through. It's the shirts. When Gwen was at the 200 point of the 4x4, and the girl from Liberty Benton was coming up behind her, Derek, you gotta tell it.
She was coming up, and I thought she was getting her, and all of a sudden Gwen just like hit an extra gear, and I said, "Not today."
So that was this phrase that we kept saying, "Not today," because she just kicked it into another gear, and that girl was left behind her. It was just so much fun to watch that. It was exciting.
With Coach Rube, one time during indoor, we were doing jumping the hurdles, and he was like, "You guys are doing it all wrong." We're like, "What's happening?" And then he goes and he falls. We were like, "You're doing it wrong." Yes, I do. And then we turned around. He's like, "Listen to the rhythm." So we were looking at the lockers, and he hits a hurdle. And we were like, "That is not right."
The rhythm was still there, though.
No, it was so off.
close your eyes and listen to the
We all
rhythm.
close our eyes. We hit him. He hits our hurdles. We're like,
So
"What
it
just
falls.
happened?"
No rhythm. Oh, he's like,
Not
he starts.
fall.
He's like, "Wait, let me do it
clapping.
again."
Yeah, that was fun.
What about the huddle at the end of
I was
practice
just
or
gonna
meet?
mention,
You
I
guys
was gonna mention
critiqued
that.
it.
So, the huddle, at the end of meets, where we all, everyone who's still there, we form a big circle and we do. Is it atta girl, atta boys? Is that what we do? Okay, I can't remember what we always say, but everyone someone starts us off and they say atta girl Gwen for, and then whatever she did really awesome that day, which was usually everything. So, and then it would be Gwen's turn. She'd say atta boy, and then she'd compliment someone else for doing a good job. And that was really good. It was a positive way to end a meet. No matter how the meet went, we always ended positive, with a positive note. And something similar, I think, at the right after we did stretches at practice. This is something Leroy brought to the team, I think, but we would have a word like for that practice, like for example, like positivity, and then we do 20 seconds. And in that 20 seconds, you could pray, you could just focus on that word, and that was really a cool thing to bring to practice.
I think talking about the huddle, every time we do our clapping, we like go repeatedly and then we do like streaks. Every time we're done, everyone corrects, oh, we did really bad. That was off. That was so bad. And then the one time we had it good was after we won regionals. We all did it, and then we said streaks. Everyone's like, that was a good one. That was a really good one.
I feel like I'll call out going on it. She always eats applesauce from her little pouch every time. I look over and I'm like, there she goes again, like eating her applesauce.
I need my sugar.
Yeah.
But not
Or-
only do you just eat the applesauce, after she's done with the little squeeze
Yeah.
pouch, she puts it in your bag, like without telling you, and she calls it like she's leaving you love.
Yeah.
She does do that. Yeah, at the end of the season, I dumped out my spike bag, and I found like 4 random applesauce containers.
I would like say Kylie is superstitious with her peanut butter sandwiches.
I think so.
No
too.
jelly.
No jelly.
No jelly.
No jelly at all.
Banana.
Oh, and her headband.
And her
too.
headband, yeah.
She's
We lost
really
that a few times
superstitious.
this year.
And
We
her
had to
braids.
Her
find-
braids.
I feel like she always
Just
has to have the
two
braids.
Yeah, I braid her hair.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the funniest part is that I hear other coaches with their nervousness talking about the Archbold girls and everything else, but it makes me feel good knowing with these other coaches that we're doing our job the way it's supposed to be, but we're very so open about our heart about these kids here because it's in them to be winners, and it's just nice to see all that and to work underneath all these other coaches and to learn myself, but also to learn from them and how they achieve. That's the great part.
How important is it, you've hit on it a little bit, I've heard a few times, so you obviously recognize it. How important is the support of your school, your families, and your community in the success of sports in Archbold?
Track is a hard one though, because school is usually out by the time we go to state meet. So you can't have a send-off, and usually right when school gets out, people are going on mission trips or going on vacation, and there's just not, yes, they support, but it's not like basketball or volleyball or cross country when it's right during the school year. And I think that's the toughest thing. Yes, I think our community supports us, but it's just hard at that time of the season.
I think it's catching on. To have these athletes recognized for what they're doing, you know, for when we were walking through the halls in cross country and the band was playing and the kids are yelling, I mean, that's what they deserve, because when you think of our state of Ohio and how competitive it is to actually make it to a state final or a state semifinal, whatever that might be, it is a huge accomplishment, and I think they need to be celebrated. So for us to come back into town and have a community member set up the police escort and that kind of thing, I think they are catching on to what these athletes are doing here in Archbold, and it's neat. And you know, we had not just parents at the state meet, but their teammates and their parents and community members too. So yeah, our community is pretty supportive and always has been, actually.
Dina, last question goes to you. What sets Archbold athletes apart?
I don't think it's just the athletes. I really don't. It is a community. Whether it's parents, whether it's coaches, I have been blessed. This was my 9th year as head coach, but I had 14 years as a assistant coach to Coach Downey. Yes, I changed a few things, but I have caliber of coaching. I just can't say it enough. The coaches are incredible. The athletes, they come and they're excited. They want to work, they want to get better. And I think that it's that bullseye tendency. They work hard because they know that that bullseye is there. People are always coming up talking to them. Oh, you're from Archbold, what do you do? What's your time? What place did you get at this event or this meet? You know, they're always asking because that's where other people set their standard. And we have to keep trying to raise that level even higher. And it's not just the runners, it's the throwers, it's the vaulters. that's why we have the caliber of coaches that can work and help these guys get better. And they're amazing.
Thank you guys for being here. Congratulations to you, your assistant coaches, you athletes. This has just been a fabulous ending to a great year of Archbold sports.